All right, gentlemen, adequate notice of the February the 11th, 2016 meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting in the bulletin board, municipal building of 1000 Route 10, Township of Hanover, by hand delivering or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, Hanover Eagle, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. May I have a roll call?
Committeeman Gallagher.
Here.
Committeeman Fermasa.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola.
Here.
And Mayor Francioli.
Here.
5 members in attendance, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise and join me in a pledge of allegiance to our flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Please be seated. Okay, Mr. Administrator, at this time, we're going to motion for open to the public.
So moved.
Motion to open.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open to the public for any item you'd like to discuss not on the agenda. I remind everyone that Township Committee will be using a 4-minute clock. If you want to address the committee from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. Seeing none. Hearing
Motion
none.
to
Motion to
close.
close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Administrator.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have the approval of the Township Committee minutes, the meeting of January 28th, 2016. May we have a motion for approval?
Motion?
We have a motion by
Second.
Mr. Gallagher, seconded by Mr. Fermasa. All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. As we continue, we have the following departmental reports available for public inspection and on file in the Administrator's office. They include the Treasurer's Report, summary of all budget revenues as of February the 11th. The Superintendent of Public Works, Buildings and Grounds, and Park Maintenance has submitted his 2 reports for all activities conducted by the Department of Public Works during the month of January. The Township Engineer has submitted his report of all capital projects, the status report, as of today. We have the Chief of Police report submitted on February 9th, listing all of the activities of the Police Department during the month of January. And finally, the construction official has submitted his report on all of the certificates of occupancy and building permits issued during the month of January 2016. Moving ahead, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we have the introduction of the current fund budget, and the total budget amount for 2016, $26,417,876.94. This budget will be considered for public hearing and final adoption at the Township Committee meeting here in the main meeting room on the evening of March 10th at 8:30 p.m. And at that time, any resident or citizen wishing to be heard concerning the budget will be given the opportunity to be heard. Are there any questions concerning the introduction of the budget at this time?
Motion approved.
Okay, we have a motion for
Second.
introduction by Mr. Bruno, seconded by Mr. Capola. On roll call for introduction of the budget, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Fermasa. Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So introduced.
We have introduced, but just to give the benefit of some highlights to the public, Township Committee worked very, very hard this year because of several issues that affected our budget. We are paying back a significant number of tax appeals, and by the way, this year our administrator informs me we have over 90 tax appeals. We are paying back a significant number of tax appeals, but I also remind the public that when you agree upon tax appeals, you're also agreeing upon a devalue of that particular property. And that the devalue of those properties on those appeals was taken into consideration in the 2016 budget as far as reduction in rateable base. We will pick up that difference in rateable base in 2016. with the addition of MetLife, Wegmans, and potentially some others. But having said all of that, Township Committee worked very hard, particularly in the capital area, on this budget, and reduced the capital area by nearly $500,000, I think, on
2 million.
capital. Is it
2
capital?
million.
2 million in
2
capital?
million.
Well, in 2 million in general. Okay. This represents under a 1% tax increase this year. The past years, 2014, 2015. We saw no municipal tax increase in the Township of Hanover beyond that of education and the fire tax, which, by the way, are separate taxable agents. And we will deliver a budget this year with a 0.9%, 0.98 of a cent, 0.98 cents, or under 1% increase for the taxpayers.
No, 0.5, because we
Yeah.
cut out the
Okay.
garden came out of open space, and now it's 0.5.
Yeah, 0.5.
Half one.
Yeah.
Half a cent.
Half a cent.
Half a cent, what did I come up, 9.98?
Yeah.
Half a cent, okay. The other highlight of this particular budget is roads. As you saw in 2015, the completion of Eden Lane, which was a total reconstruction. You saw the improvement of Whippany Roads and Parsippany Roads, which we're still monitoring. And in 2016, most of our effort will be a concerted amount of expense in road repavements, road resurfacing, milling, and reconstructions for 2016. Jerry, the total amount of roads that you're guesstimating there is
About 1.5 million in roads.
how many roads are we looking at?
I think
11?
we're looking at about 17 roads,
Okay.
15 or 17.
Okay. Very good. Again, this has been introduced, so upon approval of this budget, there'll be an opportunity open to the public for discussion on it at the approval process. Okay.
All set?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now as we continue with public hearing and adoption of ordinances, the first ordinance that we have docketed is ordinance number 3-2016. This is an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, amending and supplementing Chapter 166 of the Code of the Township entitled Land Use and Development Legislation by amending the minimum number of parking spaces for certain uses and by amending the maximum permitted floor area ratio for certain uses in the IB3 zone district. For the record, the notice of introduction and the ordinance in full appeared in the January 20th issue of the Daily Record. Pursuant to the municipal land use law, the ordinance was also sent to all of the contiguous municipalities and to the Morris County Department of Planning and Development. We have the notice that the ordinance was filed in accordance with law with the county. However, I do know for the record that because the planning board meeting on Tuesday night was canceled due to inclement weather, we do not have from the planning board a letter of recommendation concerning this ordinance. So I'm going to recommend to the Township Committee that rather than open the public hearing at this time, pending the arrival of the letter of recommendation from the planning board, that members of the Township Committee move to carry the ordinance to the meeting of February the 25th.
Need a motion?
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. On roll call to move the ordinance for public hearing and consideration of adoption to February 25th. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Firmaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Franciola.
Aye.
Once again, the public hearing is now set for the 25th of February at 8:30 p.m. here in the main meeting room. Ordinance number 4-2016 is an ordinance of the Township Committee amending and supplementing Section 125-2 entitled Raffle License Fees and Section 125-4 entitled Recreation Department Fees under Chapter 125 of the Code of the Township entitled Fees, with the inclusion of new resident and non-resident pool membership fees for the 2016 Bee Meadow swimming pool season, as well as other Recreation Department fees. We have the proof of publication that the ordinance and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the February 3rd issue of the Daily Record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion to convene the public hearing?
So moved.
A motion by Mr.
Second.
Bruno, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola. And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Is there anyone present wishing to be heard concerning ordinance number 4-2016? Seeing none, hearing none, may we have a motion to close the
So
public
moved.
hearing?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Bruno, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. To close the public hearing now, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Now, on adoption, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township Committee amending and supplementing Section 125-2 entitled Raffle Licensing Fees and Section 125-4 entitled Recreation Department Fees under Chapter 125 of the Code of the Township entitled Fees with the inclusion of new resident and non-resident pool membership fees for the year 2016 B-Meadow Pool season, as well as other recreation department fees, be passed on final reading, and that a notice of the final passage of the ordinance be published in the February 17th issue of the Daily Record. May we now have a motion on adoption?
So moved.
So moved by Mr.
Second.
Bruno. Second by Mr. Capola. On roll call for adoption, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So adopted. And ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, ordinance number 5-2016. This is an ordinance authorizing the execution of a lease agreement with the Hanover Township Little League Incorporated for the operation of the Blackbrook Park concession stand, commencing opening day, April 23rd through August 31st, 2016. We have the notice from the Daily Record that the ordinance and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the February 3rd issue of the Daily Record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion to convene the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved by Mr.
Second.
Capola, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call for the public hearing, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Is there anyone present wishing to be heard concerning ordinance number 5-2016? Seeing none, hearing none, we have a motion by Mr. Capola to close.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call to close the public hearing, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Now, on adoption, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a lease agreement with the Hanover Township Little League Incorporated for the operation of the Blackbrook Park concession stand, commencing opening day, April 23rd, 2016, through August 31st, 2016, be passed on final reading, and that a notice of the final passage of the ordinance shall be published in the February 17th issue of the Daily Record. May we now have a motion on adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Faramasca, seconded by Mr. Capola. On roll call for adoption, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So adopted. Thank you very much.
Give you that one.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now 3 ordinances for introduction. All 3 ordinances have the same public hearing date of February 25th at 8:30 p.m. And at that time, any person wishing to be heard concerning either ordinance number 6, 7, or 8 will be given an opportunity to be heard at the public hearing. The notices and the ordinances in full will be published in the Daily Record in accordance with law. Those ordinances are as follows. Ordinance number 6-16, amending and supplementing Part 2, entitled General Legislation of the Code of the Township, with the inclusion of a new Chapter 83 to be entitled Possession and Consumption of Alcoholic Beverages on Private Property. Ordinance 7-16 authorizes a 3.5% increase in the appropriation limit of the Township's calendar year 2016 current fund budget, and further establishing a cap bank, all in accordance with NJSA 40A 4-45-14. And ordinance number 8-16 maintains over prior years the 0.5% dedicated tax for the Open Space Trust Fund. So this is ordinance number 8-16, which will reduce the 2 cent per hundred of assessed valuation dedicated open space trust to 1/2 cent per $100 of assessed valuation during calendar year 2016 only. And it further authorizes the township's chief municipal finance officer to collect the 0.5 cent dedicated tax. Once again, this is maintained over the past 3 years. Once again, all 3 ordinances will be considered for final passage and public hearing on the evening of February 25th at 8:30 p.m., and we will take all 3 as a consent agenda.
Just one comment, just for the public's knowledge. As the administrator explains, we are being consistent with the 0.5 cent on our open space tax, and we have found that to be sufficient at this point, that we did not choose to modify it in any way, because in conjunction with the success we've had with both Green Acres and with the Morris County Open Space Farmland Preservation Trust Fund, we've gotten additional capital funds, not from taxpayers' dollars as such, even though these are taxpayers' dollars that fund these things, and they have been sufficient for the acquisitions that we're making this year, including the Wolf properties, et cetera. So on that note, we'll stay consistent. We'll stay with the 0.5 cent.
I'll make the motion for introduction.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Ferramaska to introduce all 3 ordinances by consent agenda.
Second?
We have a second by Mr. Bruno. On roll call for introduction, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Mayor, I'd like to just go back and make one comment about 6-16.
Sure.
I'd like to say that the Substance Awareness Council and the Hanover Township PD put quite a bit of time into discussing this, and this is also going to be a very important step for us together to stand between our children and the dangers associated with alcohol and drug use. And it's also going to be another area where we're going to be in the front of something very good. A few towns around here have already adopted this ordinance, and they have very good results because of it. And already, I know of 2 municipalities that are looking at us to possibly follow our lead on this. So thank you very much to the committee and to the police department and to the Substance Awareness Council. It's a very important ordinance right here.
I think it's a very good ordinance, and as well as affording the township some flexibility in these matters of alcohol for our youngsters. There are state regulations already in place, but this gives the local municipalities some additional options in hearing and working with our youngsters in this matter of alcohol. So fine. Thank you very much for that. Okay, gentlemen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, item number 9, resolutions as a consent agenda, items A through L. Are there any questions from members of the governing body concerning any of the resolutions?
Move to be approved.
None?
We
Second?
have a motion by Mr. Capola, seconded by Mr. Bruno. On roll call for adoption of the consent agenda of the resolutions, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So adopted.
Ah.
And ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, we now have raffle applications also as a consent agenda. Raffle application 2906, Jersey Battered Women's Service Incorporated for an off-premise raffle. Raffle application 2907, Jersey Battered Women's Service Incorporated, a Tricky Tray. And raffle application 2908, Jersey Battered Women's Service Incorporated for a 50/50 on-premise. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Moved. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with the payment of bills, we have 3 portions, and I'll give you the total. The payment of bills for the current fund, $7,148,094.91. For the animal control portion, $322.50. And for the general capital fund, $11,186.33. The grand total disbursements of all those 3 are $7,300,000. $438,178.39. That is the total grant disbursement.
So moved.
We have a motion, second, on roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Fermaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Pola.
Aye.
And Mr. Franciola.
Aye.
So approved. Mr. Chairman, members of the Township Committee, that clears the agenda of the Business Administrator, Township Clerk, and I thank you.
Thank you, Joseph, very good. Gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to open the floor once again, a motion to open.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I remind you the floor is open, but I also remind you that we have a 4-minute clock on the comment. Please give us your name and address for the record if you'd like to address us from the podium. Seeing none. Hearing none.
Motion to close?
Motion to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Gentlemen, at this time, reopen for your own comments. I'm going to start on the far end. Tom, anything?
I'll start tonight. Tomorrow night is week 6 of our Hanover Youth Nights at Menon Arena. For the first one we had 5 weeks ago, we had 42 students from Hanover Township. Last Friday, we had 154. Tomorrow night, we're doing an additional Hanover Youth Night at the Rec Center, and we're going to have Sharon's Studio of Dance and Music bring in 2 different sets of break dancers. They dance at the Devils games and all different places all over.
On the ice?
They dance in the intermission. I'm not exactly sure where they dance at the Devils games. I haven't seen them, but they're great. They'll be here tomorrow to do 2 shows for our kids, and the older girls are going to dance with our girls. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have 2 events tomorrow night from 8 to 10. Jim, you did a great job covering it today. Thank you very much. We have a lot of interest in both events for tomorrow. Also, with the Substance Awareness Council, we have Chris Herring from the Boston Celtics coming to speak to us on February 22nd at Memorial Junior School. We already have 421 people signed up for that event. We're going to cut it off at 500. Typically, at an event like this, we get between 100 and 125 people. As of today, 421. I want you to also know that we've had plenty of questions about parking for this event because of our limited parking. The Hanover Township School and Park Traffic Safety Advisory Committee got together with the schools, with the police department, with the administrators, with Town Hall. We prepared a document that's going to be available on the municipal website, on the school website. We're going to take that document and send it through to all the people that registered through the email that they had us register with. So everybody that's coming to the event is going to have our specific parking instructions. Chief Gallagher told me that somebody will be there on hand to make sure everything goes well. And just one more detail, Bob Mooney is also going to provide a shuttle service from B Meadow School. And on the document, we included the addresses of all these buildings, not just B Meadow School, because people from out of town might not know where B Meadow School is. So that's about it. Pretty busy. And once again, I'd like to say the DPW is doing a great job. I can't wait to go down there and see them working on their lawn cutting equipment because although we've got away pretty easy, I think we're ready for the springtime and baseball and everything at B Meadow Pool too, right, Bob?
It's right around the corner. Thank
God's
goodness.
sakes. Actually got buds coming up through the snow already, you believe it? Unbelievable. John?
Hanover, as we all know, has a very aggressive road plan with the commitment in 2016 to spend approximately $1.5 million. We're also getting out ahead of it. Engineering is jump-starting the process, and they've gone through the planning process. And as a result of that, we're going to be moving relatively quickly with the resurfacing of roads. So we're going to begin with awarding in early March reconstruction for Baldwin Court, Erna Place. We also have filed with the county NJDOT as well for resurfacing of Ridgedale Avenue from Malapartis Road to Cedar Knolls Road, which is a major part of that resurfacing program. And in addition to the roads, we have a jump start on our connectivity plan. The bid packages will be reviewed and awarded in early March. And just another advertisement for e-blasts. Please, if you haven't signed up for e-blast, take 2 minutes, go to the township's website, look up the e-blast and sign up for it. It's a great way of staying in touch with what's happening within your town. Mayor, that concludes my...
Very good, John. Yeah, a good reminder on the e-blast. That is, while the website for the township gives you a lot of information over the that we post over the month, etc. The e-blast is going to give you a more snippets of more current timely information. So highly recommend if you wish to, go on our site to sign up for it, and you'll get them with regularity. The same reminder goes for our Nixle program. Again, a reminder that if you'd like to get notification as to emergency situations in your township, in our area, on our roads, etc., be they weather conditions or otherwise, it's the NIXLE.
NIXLE.
NIXLE, but again, I direct you to the Hanover Township website, and if you could scroll down through that, you'll find a opportunity to sign up for Nixle. Messages will come directly to your cell phone or your home phone, I would suppose, on Nixle as well. On the home phone as well.
Email.
Yeah, very good. Heart Health Month tips from our health department. That, by the way, that message, has that also been posted at this time? I guess it is, up on our site. Okay, which is very good, especially with snow weather, folks, on snow removal. I'm going to remind everybody regarding snow removal, once again, that sidewalks should be cleared within a reasonable amount of time after a storm. This past storm, I must admit, was exceptional, and we did not expect many of our folks, particularly seniors, to try to get out there and even attempt to move this kind of snow. But I would hope that we prepare for other storms by either commissioning services or looking for other ways to have snows removed from our property. Take responsibility for that. We do have to have our sidewalks open, but if we don't want to compromise your health by you trying to do that if you're not in physical shape to do that at all. And so having reminded on that. George, anything?
Yes. First of all, the Veterans Alliance is starting to meet now on a Memorial Day parade, as much as it seems like a way off in May, but that time goes very quickly. Under public safety, we did have a sergeant retire, and we have 14 patrolmen who have applied to take the exam, so that should be coming through shortly, depending on the length of the process. And we also have 3 officers who put their name in for our for the chief's position. Landmark Commission asked me, the members, to say thank you to the Township Committee for approving their budget. Landmark Commission has done quite a bit in the last couple of years with the burial yard. That's a registered historic site. We had a number of stones that have disintegrated or broken. They're the kind of sandstones that have been there for many, many, many years. And because of that, we have to get them restored. We are putting in for a grant that with the 10,000 may get us, we hopefully will get 40,000. It's going to cost up until $60,000 to $70,000 in the years to come just to get a number of those stones restored, because they have to be as close to originality as possible to retain the historic significance. So with that, I really, the commission was a little concerned about their budget, but the committee did approve it, and they asked that I say thank you, because it's for the residents of Hanover and the historical site for Hanover. And this is why it is such an important contribution, that if they can get that site completed, get a number of those stones fixed, it's going to make a big difference. So thank you all.
Thanks, George. Appreciate that information. Yeah, Robert.
2 announcements quickly. The Hopping Down the Bunny Trail coming up March 5th, Rec Center. Easter Bunny promises to be there, and lots of arts and crafts, DJ for the kids. So just 3 short weeks away. And then, as noted by one of the ordinances here, I think it was 5-216 about Blackbrook Park concession. Little League opening day. Still a ways off, but April 23rd. Mark that on your calendar, and something we have to look forward to with the advent of spring. So lots going on in the rec department. Those are just two dates to take note of.
Very good.
Mayor, can I make a comment about hopping down the bunny trail?
Yeah, sure. Is Robert going to put the ears on again this year?
Bob's going to be happy with.
Don't count on it.
And agree with me, because we have children that are similar age. The hopping down the bunny trail is very important, because the kids want to go, and then all of a sudden, one year they don't want to go. So I would make it a point, if your children are young, to go down there. It's a lot of fun. They love it. They're going to want to hang around and get their picture taken with the Easter Bunny, because time goes too fast. There's going to be a year where you say you want to go down and see hopping down a bunny trail, and they look at you like you're crazy. So it's a great event. Bob, thank you again for doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, it's a good point. They grow up quickly, so make sure you take them all the young. There's plenty to do.
Did Denise put up she circulated a calendar to we committeemen of all the events for the up-and-coming year.
Everything on the website. Yep.
Is it up on the
Absolutely.
site?
Yep.
Good. All right, that's fine. Yeah, please, folks, check on that, too. Recreation, a lot of wonderful programs coming up for you, for the children, and for us youngsters and oldsters as well. So take a look at that. I think you'll find it very helpful. Any other comment from the committee at this time? If not, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Committee is adjourned. Thank you all.
Good job.
Very good.
Good.
Look at it, we still got some personnel.
Yeah,
Are you satisfied?
I was on my way to interview the day that I ran to the and they're like,
24/7?
I think we are. I think I am.
So if you do the state highway, you do the distance from the certain I think we're
Well, the intersection. There he is.